So tonight, Melissa Mango. So I just met Melissa last year. I actually was friends with her online in the old, I hate to say it, Facebook and MySpace. And we had a really good common friend. So we connected and I got to meet her at Raw Spirit last year. And then when I started doing Monday Night Live this year, really early on, it was like January or February, a Monday Night Live was ending. People were starting to mill out, and I looked up and Melissa and David were standing there, and I was like, oh my God, like here is this amazing top raw chef, and I know she just wants space, and I couldn't help it. I'm like inching my way over to her, right? And I totally pounced on her, and I got her to agree to do a Monday Night Live, and so it's taken a while with this summer full of festivities and festivals and travel, and finally here we are with her talk, which is about her new book and actually philosophy that she's been working with. So her new book, which is called Melissa Mango's Green Cuisine, How to Eat Gourmet Style Without the Heavy Fats and Complicated Ingredients. Here's Melissa Mango.
Thank you, everyone. Hope you don't mind if I'm barefoot. I'll just stay over here. I want to make a couple announcements. I was going to announce Dana's birthday, so she's accepting pieces of pie and shots of wheatgrass, right? You can deliver them over there. I want to also thank Shea and Stephen for putting so much effort and love into this amazing community, and I mean, what a resource it is to be able to come here and eat dinner and hear what other people have to say and different philosophies and learn for free. That's awesome. So thank you. Now normally I give talks with blenders and food processors and food and toys in front of me, so this is a new one for me. But I'll keep the general idea the same, is that I like to keep questions coming as I go, and the reason for this is because I like it very interactive. Helps me get organized and relaxed, and also it just keeps it so you guys get everything that you need out of the talk as well. My philosophy is not just about, tonight I'm going to be talking about how you can fix your meals and kind of plan your week without being too fanatical. And I think that it's important for long-term balance if you want to thrive on live foods for the long term. I'm also going to be talking about, well, the philosophy and also how to do the food. So we're going to get to both of those. I guess I'll start with my story because everyone wants to know. I started doing raw foods about 2001. I was doing dance competitions, and I had a personal trainer that mentioned to me, hey, why don't you try raw food? Now at the time I was on a bodybuilder diet or a dancer diet of just, you know, heavy protein and lots of vegetables and the protein shakes and whatnot. And he was, you know, built like a Roman god, very athletic, you know, all natural bodybuilder. So naturally I wanted him to train me, and I wanted to take what he said seriously. And I thought, you know, here's someone that has the results that I want, so why not listen to him? And he was always into some very avant-garde topics like raw food and the banking system and different philosophies that I won't go into right now, but just very different ideas on life and different things. So I thought raw food was just another one of his weird topics. But I thought, you know what, I'll try it. And I'm sure all of you have been a little skeptical when you first hear about raw food, right? Like, where do you get your protein? Am I going to starve to death? What do you mean carrot sticks and celery sticks? You know, all those same questions popped up. And I thought, you know what, I'll just try it. Why not? He gave me a couple books. One of them was Raw Food is Propaganda by Joe Alexander. Anyone read that one? Awesome book. It's a very non-committal book is what I like to call it. It's very thin. You can get through it in a couple hours and has great information. The other one that I read is Raw Food Eating, and I think it's by a gentleman from Russia. Is that right? Written in the early 1900s. Amazing book. And I listened to it, and I thought, even though I was skeptical and I was used to my salmon and vegetables and my oatmeal in the morning, I was like, wow, that just makes so much sense, you know, doesn't it? So I started doing it, and back then in 2001 in Idaho, it was cold. We had lots of fresh fruits and vegetables, but we didn't have any raw food. There was no books that I knew of. There was just a little bit of internet, but I didn't get to that till later. So I just started doing, you know, fresh smoothies in the morning of whatever kind of fruits I could find at the store. And we'd go to the gym, and then after the gym, instead of doing the protein shakes, we would do green juices. And then I would make what I call the garbage dump salad. I know that sounds strange, but you know what I mean. I'm sure everyone here has made one. Huge salad bowl about like this big, you know? So I'd make a huge salad. It had everything in it, avocado and zucchini and olives and, you know, tons of vegetables, all chopped up really small. And every couple hours, due to my regimen, I had to eat, you know, every few hours. So that was my diet, and that seems, you know, pretty balancing and pretty clean. So I was doing that, feeling amazing, and then, you know, I had all the symptoms I should say the benefits of raw food almost instantly. I mean, some of the symptoms are, you know, less sleep, you get more energy, your face starts to get clear, the eyes, you know, just all these amazing things started happening. 1 second. I think I had too much milkshake before coming up here.
Without the milk.
What's that?
Without the milk.
Actually, it was suggested by my lovely server. It was the peaches that were grown on the farm and the vanilla milkshake. It's awesome, by the way.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So I had all these amazing things started happening to me, and what was cool about it is because I didn't get into raw food for those reasons. I got into it to look a certain way and get my body to react a certain way. I wanted to get really lean, I wanted to get muscular, and I wanted to win this trip to Jamaica. So when I started, yeah, exactly. So when I started doing the raw food and noticing that even my thought patterns were changing, like even, I mean, I've always been a very nice person and, you know, good deeds and, you know, humble sometimes. Just this sense of well-being came over me, and I felt just amazing. And there's nothing, I mean, I'm sure everyone has experienced that. There's just nothing like it. And when you start noticing it, you're like, wow, just because of my diet, it's so amazing. So I kept doing it, and then I started getting into catering because I was the only person making raw food in the area. I started being asked to make cakes and pies for people and doing classes, and that's kind of how my professional career started. It just kind of happened because there was no one in Idaho doing it. So I started doing that, and that led me to the Tree of Life, and I was a guest instructor, and then that eventually led me to open my own restaurant in Los Angeles, and doing different classes and events and speaking engagements and also consulting. So that's the gist of that. But what I noticed is that the more I traveled, I would meet people that were either still doing the raw food and not being very successful, or people that were doing it but seemed very unbalanced to me. Has anyone met unbalanced raw foodists? It's okay, I won't take your names. But I went to the Tree of Life and I met some amazing people, the bright eyes, the warm hearts, but I also noticed some symptoms that I was not too crazy about, and I thought, we're supposed to be having the best day ever and eating the most amazing food. Why are people emotionally a wreck? Why do people have the nut guts and they're not pregnant, you know? Why are people all pasty? Why is there low energy? Like, what's going on here? We're supposed to be eating this live food and feeling awesome. So what was going on? And so I started traveling to Costa Rica and some other places all over the planet and noticing the same thing. Every once in a while I'd meet someone that was really balanced, you know, psychologically really balanced too, you know, and someone that was very vibrant, and I wanted to follow what they were doing. I wanted to understand how they got the success that they got, how did they get the success. So I also noticed those same symptoms that I wanted to get away from in myself. Like I started gaining more weight, and I was like, where is this coming from? I'm eating an all raw diet, like this isn't supposed to happen. And most people, most speakers, most book writers don't talk about those kind of things because they're still selling a product or they want to get people excited about it. But the reality is that it's not just about going 100% raw. It's about really paying attention to what raw foods we're eating, in what quantities, how much exercise we're getting, where we're living, all those things. And so that's kind of what I'm going to go into tonight. So after my traveling and after my realizations, I narrowed it down to just 4 things that I think everyone should really know about long-term balance on live food. And I got this idea originally obviously from using myself as an experiment, trial and error. But anyone go to the Health Expo a couple months ago? Yeah, amazing, wasn't it? I just loved it. But John Kohler, I always call him the Coconut John. But John, he's the first one that gave me these concepts. You know, I think it was in an email or something, and I thought, is this guy nuts? But the more I thought about it and the more I did it, I was like, this guy knows what he's talking about.